Hey guys, what's up? All right. Double Deuce back. Today we're going to do a little disc brake testing. What do you think? I'll show you how I hooked them up. Here we go. So I got the brakes on it. I wanted to show you guys how well they worked. And I'll show you how I put them on this thing, because I couldn't find the cables. I had to make all these myself. I couldn't find any directions on it, even brackets. I know I got through under the bus for not making nice brackets, so I made a nice bracket here for a couple people there that are pretty anal retentive about brackets. And I painted them pretty much the same color as the truck, and I'll show you what I used on that and how I did that in a minute. So anyways, I needed some cable, so I bought the front steering setup for the CAPO Ace 1, and you know, I'm definitely going to put that in this, so I didn't want to use the cable out of that. So I work in a body shop, so this is a hood release cable for I don't know what it is, probably a Toyota or Honda or something. They had a front clip. They just cut them off anyway, you know, and when you buy a used front clip. But if you go to your local junkyard or whatever, you can buy one of these things, you know, probably for $5, and just go out and grab it, whatever you need. You're not going to use the jacket. You're going to use just the cable out of it. Now, I believe this cable, because this is what I had to deal with. I'm going to measure this real quick for us right now. Zero this out. And see what this cable is. I think it's like come on, 0. There we go. I think it's like 1 millimeter was the, busting my balls. There we go. All right. Yeah, it's just a little over 1 millimeter. Yeah, 1 millimeter. Okay. Now, you know, you could use this jacket if you want to, but there's a metal lining in there, and it's a nightmare. And it's really stiff, and it doesn't bend very well. So what I did was, I bought a roll of, this is air shock airline. You see, it's plastic, it's very small, it's very tiny, and I'll measure that for you guys too, so you know. So 3 1/4 millimeters. So very small, and the inside hole is, you know, it'll comfortably fit a 1 millimeter cable through there. So on these here, I'll get a close-up on here for you. Okay, now on here, I had a bag of, they're just like brass pieces and cut-offs. They come in a big bag in the hobby stores. I don't even know if they sell them anymore. But I found some that slide over top. There's a little aluminum machine boss on here. I found some that slide over the top. And then I cut my air shock line tubing to the length I needed, which I set my servo back here. Okay. And then I took some heat shrink tube, you know, the heat shrink stuff there, and I put it over top here and just heated it up and crimped it on there, you know, so that holds that in place. I did that on the front and the back too. Now, on the back, zoom back out here again. Get a close-up of that on the back and show you. You can see the servo sits down in here, and this is how I set it up. close up on it for you. You see the lines, how I just tucked them over the frame rails in between the cross members and out the back, and I'm just gonna crimp them together here with the zip tie. The back one's over here, you know, there's got to be one long one over here that of course just doesn't play well and doesn't fit well. You can't really make 90-degree angles with these things. You can make slow turns with them. So I had brought them all into, I made an L bracket right here out of aluminum, and then I drilled 4 holes in it, and the same brass end pieces I used on these up here. Right here, the same brass pieces I used to use the heat shrink tube over the air shock line. I just glued them right there to the existing plate that I had. I had drilled 4 small holes in there to let the cables run through, and then I mounted this to the bracket, and using I think it's an MG996R servo. It seems to work great. It's actually tighter than the steering servo I got. I might grab another one of these. I buy these by the handfuls and switch out the front one because it's kind of loose as a moose's poos up front there. But anyways, I put it on there, and then I used a Dubro. You can probably still buy these things. These are Dubro collars. You see, they got they're little tiny. They got an Allen screw in there. So, as you can see, I put one on every corner where the cable is, and I ran the cable through, and I brought it back here, all of them through here, and I put it all into one Dubro link that was a little bigger, and I kind of snugged them up tight, and I tightened this down, and then individually I went around to each one and grabbed it and pulled it, so you know it has a little swing there, but not too much slop to kind of, I guess, give it a uniform all 4 wheels stopping. So now I'll fire this thing up and let you see how the servo works, because what I'll probably do on this servo back here is here we go. What I'll probably do is use a T-arm on this. I don't know if they make aluminum T-arms or not, but I'm going to find out, and that way I can run one off to the other side and run a throttle cable just like this, the same stuff I made here, for my 4-stroke nitro engine. So this way here it works off one servo. I don't have to worry about it. I could, there is room under the dash. I could make put a mini servo under the dash, but I don't, never really done that with a nitro car, and especially a kit this expensive. But so when you hit the gas, it goes forward. You see it moving forward. And then when you hit the brake, it pulls it. So with the electric, when you go backwards, the brakes lock up too. So it's not a good idea for an electric thing, but unless you want to put a different servo, or if you run, say, in the speed controller, I got rid of the the reverse feature, you know what I mean? So it'd be a whole other project to do it that way. But anyway, so I was out running the kit today. It was, like I say, I didn't feel good. I woke up with a cold and all that crap, and this time of year, and yesterday it monsooned all day long. But I am really impressed with the way this thing handles. The problem is you're going to lose some hardware. All right, see, this thing started dropping hardware out here, and fortunately they give you a ton of extra stuff with the thing, and so it's a labor of love. But Another thing I did find out with these disc brakes, I had a set of Dick CPEC wheels, RC 4-wheel drive 2.2 rims. I wanted to put on here, but they don't clear. They hit the brakes, so those were kind of out. But if you look at the stock rim, okay, on the back, if you can get a rim that's just straight out, a 2.2 rim that's just straight out or bigger, a 2.8, 3.1 or 3.2 or a 3.3 or whatever, but a 1.9 is not going to fit. So if you get these brakes, you're going to have to run at least a 2.2 wheel on it without a big lip on the back here. I noticed a lot of my other wheels, fit. I think the reason the RC 4-wheel drive wheel wouldn't fit is because they have a bolt flange back here, and it sticks in a little bit. You could probably machine it out and make it fit if you wanted to. So, anyways, I ran the stock wheels back on it again. And I'll put it this way, with the weight of this truck, it's a mandatory thing to run bead locks. You have to. I had a set of plastic rims I put on it that were nice and wide. I wanted some stability because I have a 15-turn motor in here. And I already got a couple of battle scars from it, doing the barrel roll. But so I put a wider track on it. And when you turn, if you don't glue the tires, they just roll right off the rims. And it's a shit show. But anywho, so like I say, the brake thing wasn't a big deal. Need some stuff like this. Now you can buy this cable too. I found some on eBay, and they have it like 0.6, 0.8, up to 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, cable. And a lot of it, from what I've had some of you guys tell me, they use it in like the bicycle brakes and the bicycle shifting cables, And like I say, the aluminum, I just had scraps of aluminum laying around, and I just traced out a servo mount. And fortunately, there was a hole in the front over here that was already there in the frame, and in the back there was where the roll bars come together. There was another little opening in there, big enough for a 3 millimeter screw to fit down in. So it's basically, I got it held on this way, to here, and it's sandwiched right down onto the roll cage underneath it. So it's good and strong. But anyways, like I say, any questions, comments, feel free to hit me up. I'm waiting for my I guess my shipping confirmation for my Toyin V4, and I've been looking at the front of it, and it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I think I can do it. And it's I just don't want to be hacking nothing up. I want it to look like it fit in there, from the factory. So I think I may have a way to do it, maybe by changing a couple of the brackets from side to side, maybe. But we'll find out. So, and I won't know till I get it here to actually set it in there and kind of give it a hard eye and check it out. But now, if you guys are following, like say, LA or Black LA Mass, Steve, he come up with a, his Toyin, or his Toyin motor in a HEP 407 like the one I had, and I guess he's finishing that kit up. So if you catch any of his videos, check it out. And also Steve from Tanks and Trucks 24/7. He's always on some build there. And now you got to check out Kevin Talbot's. He's back on his build. So he's figured out a way. It was pretty ingenious, I thought. The way he was putting his motor in, he's hooking it up to the factory 2-speed transmission, and he's using the Revo 3.3 2-speed transmission too, with the reverse and brake. And check out his video. It was pretty crafty the way he just kind of set it all up together so the motor would set down lower without and keeping the drive shaft angles right. It was pretty pretty witty. So check that video out. And anyway, so like I say, I hope you guys had a great New Year's. I'm going to go up and take some Alka-Seltzer Plus or something and lay down. So, you guys have a great new year, and I hope it started off well. And I know mine did, so I wasn't no complaints here. So anyways, guys, you have a great weekend. So I'll talk to you later, man. Adios.